Hello, HVAC world. We are here in beautiful Texas where it's nice and cool. I mean, hot as heck. And how is it there, Mike, in Florida?
It is humid as a swamp over here, my man. Two service calls just came in.
Got a lot of latent heat floating around in the air there, right?
Oh, dude, it's like you can cut it with a butter knife.
I have lived there. I can vouch for that. I miss the dryness of Las Vegas, plus all the
Right?
outdoor stuff. Like, it's really so much fun out there. So we had some really cool stuff that Mike and I was talking about doing this week, and we just ran out of time. And then we thought, hey, you know what? Let's just talk about random HVAC stuff because there's so much to do. And, this is all free anyway. So we figured, what the heck? If you didn't like it, we can log out. No big deal. But anyways, lots of cool stuff.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of people don't know how to log out even out of group communities. Just got to go right into the settings.
So
What do you got there, man?
So this is a report from the Office of the Navy.
Wow.
So this is pretty neat. It is ventilation and cooling, exclusive mansion, the illness of President Garfield. So
Really?
going way back in history, the first time that we really used ice to cool a person was President Garfield. They were actually trying to figure out how to cool because he was sick. He got injured. I don't remember what happened. And so they wanted a way to cool him during his last years or his last hours or months or whatever. And so there's a report on it. Now, I remember reading about this in history, but now I have the book, and this is from 1882.
Ooh,
1882. So, like, pretty psyched to have this. Um,
dude,
I don't
that's
know. It's going to be some.
great. Where'd you get that? A book fair?
I found this thing, something books, like these old books. Somebody sent me a link to it, and I
Really?
saw this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. I have to have it. So, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I'm going to read through it and see about it, but it has like trials and errors and different things they did. But it's pretty cool thinking about, like, we get people complaining that there's no air conditioning, and then we think back 1882, the president had the all the resources of America and to try to get them cooling. Isn't that crazy? Because he
Wow.
was sick. That was like the whole reason.
They just
It's like
shipped down
I
some ice cubes.
pretty much it was like ice and fans, and they like looked at all kinds of different ways of cooling. I thought it was pretty awesome.
1882. So when did Willis Carrier invent
That went until like 19 something. Actually, if you want
19,
to go
right?
back,
Yeah.
John Gorey used ice to cool his patients in Florida. He was really
Wow.
using ice to cool people way before Willis Carrier did, and he had invented the ice machine, patented it. The Ice King in New York was actually making a lot of money selling ice. Like, he would cut it in the winter, store it, and then sell it. He didn't want
Yeah.
anybody making it ice, especially in the South. And in Florida, ice is very expensive. So John Gorey was treating people. He thought that like where we have mosquitoes was like dengue fever or yellow fever, whatever it is. He thought that was from the heat. He called it a heat illness. And what happened, of course, we now know that the temperature rises, you get mosquitoes, and that's what the illness is from. But he found that when you brought people indoors and you cooled them with ice, that they responded better to treatments. Now we
Really?
know that it was keeping them away from the mosquitoes was a big part of that, right? But at the time
Big
they didn't know
big
that.
part.
So his whole idea of making ice was so that he could treat people. And then the Ice King ran a smear campaign against them, ended up dying in pretty much poverty. And there's a lady in Florida. She's always responding to my Facebook post about John Gorey. And she's like, she wrote a book about him. And it's in my bookshelf in the house. But it was pretty cool. Like, way before Willis Carrier, it was him. And then he only dropped temperature, or so I thought. I also found out that he had plans for using air through a fireplace, using the coals from a fireplace to dehumidify air. And he was really working on dehumidifying the air also by using coal, like absorbing moisture. And that patent never came through. It supposedly got lost. And so anyways, long story short, he died of poverty. Nobody knew about the
Wow.
dehumidification side. Later, Willis Carrier came along, and he started using it wasn't for people. It was for cooling like paper and manufacturing,
Wow.
because as the temperature and humidity would change, it changed the paper. So cooling the air, like, they could do that. but dehumidifying was the key that Willis Carrier really brought in. So the Willis Carrier's first air conditioner wasn't even refrigeration. Like John Gorey had refrigeration down. It leaked,
Really?
wasn't the
No
greatest.
kidding.
But yet, Willis Carrier's his first unit was groundwater. He used cool
Wow.
groundwater below the dew point temperature to have the condensation. It went like till like a year later before we had the refrigeration in that. Like, how cool is that, right? I mean,
That's
like,
wild.
we all think about Willis Carrier, but I'm like, John Gorey was like the man. And then, of
Yeah.
course, he relied on science before that. Like, so it was like this constant progression. But what's cool about Willis Carrier is he designed the psychometric chart. Supposedly, the story goes, he was sitting at a train station. This wasn't the topic of tonight. Supposedly, he was sitting at a train station and he watched fog roll in, and that inspired him to think about the air. And so he developed, from my understanding, developed a psychometric chart. And once he could map out the air and knew how it worked, then he could manipulate it. And
Dude,
so, because of the
it's
psychometric
amazing.
chart, yeah, he could have the coil below dew point, pull the moisture out of the air. Like, all this science stuff comes back from when he did it. So I'm like, I mean, it's super cool, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Psychometric Saturdays with Tim D'Estachio I was watching.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
so
look at that. They tried to who they tried to Gory? They tried to assassinate him?
I'm thinking he's talking about the. I'm
The Ice
pretty sure
King?
we're going back to. So I lost track. I got carried away. I'm thinking, was he talking about Garfield or are you talking about Gory? So laid to rest at Lakeview Cemetery in Ohio. See
Hey
if he
Jim.
pops back in here. The crypt is pretty incredible. Yeah, it's the history is so cool. I mean, going all the way back, and psychometrics. I hated psychometrics when I first got
Oh,
in Garfield. So
Garfield.
Garfield
Oh wow.
was as a the crypt is a pretty incredible. So now I got to go visit this crypt, but I'm going to read this. It's a kind of a hard read. Like there's no colors and I can't highlight it because I'm not going to ruin that book. But pretty exciting.
I
And
figure the Ice King. I thought it was him.
oh man, the Ice
I
King
used
had
to
it
have
out.
relatives in New York. They used to chop up block ice and send it across Long Island. Yeah.
All right, so let's go
So
to
I guess I was
ice.
in AC. What the
You
family's
were.
a little bit in AC.
It's a hard business, but you know it's easy to liquefy your assets. So they so the Ice King, like it goes back, and he was trying to figure out ways of making money, and so he was actually cutting this ice, and he was taking the ice to different bars and convincing people to put the ice in their drink to make the drink better, so he could like build a customer base that could sell the ice. And so he actually had got a ship, had gone down to I don't know the Bahamas, an island somewhere to get a bunch of fruit, put it all in the ship using ice. Like he lost half the ice before he got there. And then the food, because it was touching ice, nobody knew back then. The
Right.
food got ruined, so it came back. He had to spend some time in jail to pay off that debt.
Oh
Um,
man.
but because of ice, like they were able to start like making beer. At one time, you could only have different beers at different seasons. That's why there was seasonal beer, and it
Oh,
was
okay.
because of the
That makes sense.
temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because ice came around and they started storing it and reusing it, they could make beer at all these different temperatures at different times. And it come from like just simply, and this is great. I'm sorry, I'm carried away, but gets great because the farmers didn't have much to do in the wintertime. So they'd
Right.
go work for these ice companies and they would go and cut the ice and they would store it in these big ice blocks. They use sawdust and hay and everything else as insulation. And they
Right.
would pack it in these ice houses and store it. And then they would sell that during the summer. And let's go back to the people you have in the winter that was working super hard was like the people that sold coal and for that matter, even oil. So they would go and shovel oil. Well, in the summertime, they didn't have a job. So in the summertime, they would go
Oh,
and sell
right.
ice.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
like it was amazing how all of this stuff like is so interconnected.
It is
So the
wild.
ice was huge. And then they
Yeah.
had issues of where they got the ice because some of the ice was like clean water and some of the ice was from like really nasty areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so some of the ice you didn't want to be putting in your drinks, but it was good for other things, you know. So
Yeah. Imagine that, like old nasty pond water.
and they were doing
In
it
like,
too. They were doing it.
woo!
They were doing it. Like it was and they had different grades of ice, and then of course you had the ice, like the people that delivered ice, they would have their little methods for making extra money. Like
Yeah.
it's insane how big it was, but the ice industry was very powerful at one time, and they fought mechanical refrigeration. Like they
Yeah.
fought it like full on.
That's what I
Oh,
thought Jim meant. I thought they tried to assassinate like Willis Carrier or something.
And refrigerated rail cars. So before we had to actually take cattle and move them all the way to where they needed to be, like drive them all the way to New York and out in Chicago and all these
Yeah,
places. And you had certain times a year that you could work with beef. The rest of the time, you had a sickness where people would get sick because they didn't have any beef, or they eat only beef and no vegetables. So it was like
yeah,
either all vegetables and plants or all beef. And it was because of using ice that they were able to transport this. So they had a rail cars going between Chicago and New York. But the first problem they had was they put the meat next to the ice and the meat would turn black.
oh
So
yeah, turns
then they had
color.
to
Yeah,
learn, they had to learn to use the like brine and use these different things. So they could store ice in one chamber and have the meat be cool. And then later we finally got to refrigeration to where we could cool the rail cars. Yeah, but it's amazing how deep the
yeah,
history actually goes.
yeah. Goes way back, and yeah, ice was big in Long Island. And I don't know if they were. I remember hearing stories they were shipping it. They were on ships coming back, and it's really interesting. Really interesting. And I mean, imagine when people started getting refrigerators like right off the bat. Like how
Oh, and the
big of a
ice,
like a that's like getting an iPhone in like the 80s. You know, it's like I
it
don't
was
even know.
huge.
It's
You were a big
crazy.
deal if you had an icebox. And then
Yeah.
it was crazy because like how expensive that was. Like horses only last for a certain amount of time, and then you had to be able to afford the icebox. But they
Yeah.
used to have to go shopping like every day, like constantly have fresh food coming in because you couldn't store it. And then we
Yeah.
had refrigeration that changed the world. So yeah, they had people that sold roots. I'm just kidding, root sellers. So there's a there's a lot of these all around Texas that they were used to use keep things cool under the ground. So it was very cool. And if that's not enough,
But wait, there's more. Act now.
so if you listen to my friend Refrigeration Mentor and also the Advanced Refrigeration podcast with Brett Wetzel, they're always talking
Oh yeah,
about
Brett.
CO2, right? Well, here we have CO2 is not new either. Here's CO2 all the way back from 1906. And this is where they
Wow.
use CO2 and the Liverpool Refrigeration Company. It's for the American steamliners, the St. Paul, the New York, the St. Louis, and the Philadelphia.
So where are they getting CO2 from? 190.
Well, I haven't read it yet.
Golly,
I've
man, that was
had this
before
for.
World War One and Two.
Isn't it
Jeez.
crazy?
Like
So,
what?
like, we talk about all this new stuff, and we're
Yeah,
thinking, like, man, it's not new. It's just like we're just rediscovering a lot of this stuff. Like, it's like all this stuff's been documented
yeah.
for.
HVAC TV says the first patent for an ice machine was John Gorey, 1851. It went that far back. Holy smokes! Wow.
So it's crazy. And then before that, there was like all science and theory. Like
Yeah.
it
Okay,
was
so they were playing with CO2 back then. Then, if they had a patent for an ice machine, okay.
oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like the heat pump. How old the heat pump predates the gas furnace. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So
No. No
yeah,
way.
so they were using heat pumps. I can't remember the whole
That's
story.
crazy.
To like take water to distill water or something, and it wasn't until later the gas furnace was invented by Miss Parks. She was an African American lady. She invented the gas furnace, and it
That's
was a
cool.
huge like improvement. Yeah. So
That
the
is
heat pumps
awesome.
literally predates the gas furnace, and we talk about heat pumps being new. Here's one from
1852.
1947, and this is talking about.
Jeez, half
Uh,
of my family didn't even come over on the boat till 1905, man. That's funny.
this is talking about how heat pumps been around for a while. This is like 1942. So
1942. Yeah.
so much of this stuff that we talk about.
Come on, man. That's new stuff. The heat pumps are new technology. What are you talking about, dude?
Yes, and I've been to Apalachicola, Florida. I've been there. I got to see John Gorey's
Apalachicola.
grave. I've got to see his little miniature museum there. I got to see a replica
Where's that? Is that
of
down
his ice
south?
machine that he made. It's the west
Oh, it's
coast of Florida, like up
Pensacola?
kind of in the armpit kind of a Florida right there.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah, yeah.
little, I don't think that's probably the appropriate name of it, but not a lot to see there. But it was
Yeah.
cool because I got to actually go and see like where he's from, and
Apalachicola. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this is it.
Oh,
Yes.
wait
Oh,
a minute. I was just by there. That's crazy.
and you didn't see John Gory? Oh, come on.
Oh, dude, I drove through the town.
So
Oh
there's a
my
book
god.
and Panhandle. Yeah, Panhandle's the proper name.
Yeah.
So there's a book called uh, "He Made Ice and Changed the World," and it was written by a school teacher in Florida. And she'll probably never make a profit on it. She's trying to break even on it. But you'll see her on my Facebook post. She posts all the time about John Gory, and I got to do an
Yeah.
interview with her. And but yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think I
So yeah,
think Brian Orr mentioned them too. Yeah, because Florida people.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
So
really
up in the
cool
Panhandle,
town, man.
great camping over there. Not
Yeah,
necessarily in that town, but in that area, there's some really nice beaches over there that are not full of thousands of
yeah,
people.
like tourists. Yeah, like local and yeah.
When I'm a
It's not like
when I'm at tourist places, I don't want to see tourists.
it's not like Daytona. That's what I think you're shooting for. Oh man, it's pretty. The history goes way back, man.
It does. It's crazy. So I was talking to somebody this week, and of course, everybody's freaking out about new refrigerants. The sky is falling. It's the end of the world.
It is, yeah.
Conspiracies. Like it's like every possible thing. People are saying, "Well, you have to be an engineer now to do HVAC."
Sure, yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
like a big
well,
conspiracy.
I look back at some of these old training books we have, and this one's from
Was that for World War II? What do you got there?
1948. And
Golly,
it's
dude.
talking about formulas using conduction, convection, heat of uh, like all these systems. Like there's like tons of formulas in here, charts in here. Scary, scary formulas. Like now we have apps that
No.
do this stuff for us. So
Yeah,
it's always been technical. It's not new.
it's
It's
always been
always been
technical.
technical. It's
Yeah.
a technical trade.
Dude, I saw your video, man. The one where you had the disminim. How do you say it again? Disminimus?
De minimis.
De minimis
Oh my
leaking out,
gosh.
and you had the.
Oh,
All right. That pretty
so
much
I had
solidified
people that
everything for
reported
me.
me to the EPA right there for
Oh
that
my
one. I'm like,
God, are you
oh
serious?
yeah.
I believe it.
Oh,
I believe it.
there's one guy that particularly like he wouldn't let it go. He just kept on and on and on and on and on about it.
You
And I'm
know,
like,
right
it's
now there's a
literally a
there's
de
a
minimis amount.
Canadian EPA guy on a mountain bat. He's on a horse right now, coming for you. He's coming. He's gonna be there in
I'm
about
like,
2 months.
if you think, oh, the guy was saying
Right
he
from
was saying
Montreal, Canada.
now it was low pressure. Like so, I shut the tank. I was only vapor, right? R32. You can charge as a
Right.
vapor, and I had
Yeah.
that going into the saturated line or the expansion line of a mini split, which is low pressure vapor. So when you shut your tank off, like it's low pressure in the hose, and of course you
Yeah.
see that little squirt coming out because it's saturated. So I did the lighter around that to show, hey, it's not going to kill us. And then I purged out that little bit of low pressure vapor at the end and did the lighter. And I was trying to think, how could I do this legally? And all like a lot of thought went into how to make this. I
Yeah.
do it at night because somebody's going like, you can't see the flame in the day. So I did it at night. Like a lot of thought went into it. And this guy, like a lot of people said they were going to report me, but this guy was like on it. Like he wouldn't let it go. He's like, no, you got to recover all that refrigerant out of that low pressure vapor hose.
Oh yeah. They make
I'm like,
little tiny recovery machines. Yeah. You didn't know that? Oh,
you're gonna
dude.
take it from the suction side and put it in the liquid side. You're still gonna have the liquid there. Like you're still gonna be there. You're gonna lose it in the high pressure hose. Plus
He,
the high
he,
pressure
he
that
must
killed the
work on
thing.
commercial like CO2 units. It's like negative 20 psi on the suction
It
side.
was, and I don't. It's just like when somebody says they're gonna report you and they're going after your career. Like I don't like to typically talk about people. It's just like, dude, you have no clue. I'm like, call the EPA. Like call them. Like it's okay. They're gonna investigate and be like, what is this? It's like calling the police your neighbor because their lawnmower is too loud. It's like,
Yeah. Well, I just looked on your video not too long ago, and the EPA gave it a thumbs up.
oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Why did the HVAC technician break up with the word de minimis? Because their problems were too small to notice. Oh my god, that is awesome.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
you made it to his top four, man. Top four, top five.
I know Tony's awesome. Like, man, I got Tony in the house.
It's
And I'm
awesome.
commenting his stuff all the time. It's like, yeah, it's so cool. And there's so many cool people here. I mean, we got uh like I don't know, awesome people all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
always wild people
Yeah,
coming in on the
it's got
live streams, man.
Steven's in here, everything HVACR. I got Brian here. So many like awesome people. Like it's fantastic. Jason Johnson, he's like always around. I'm so proud of Jason Johnson, his growth. So yeah, I mean it's crazy. Hang on.
What is he? What's he got now, guys? Throw it in the chat. Oh, what is
All
that?
right. So
That's
like people are
Indiana
always
Jones's notebook. I'm sorry.
yes. All right. I'm sorry guys. I'm nerding out. All right. So it's the pipe fitters
Oh
handbook,
yeah,
right? All right. So
yeah. I think I got one
let's
around
see.
here. The
Yeah.
new version. They kept it small too, which is wild. I keep it in the inside of my breast pocket.
Here we go. I don't know if you can see that date. 1905.
Wow.
1905. Right. So and we look through here and we got calculations, right? Let's see what the next page is. All right, here we go. Whoops. Here we go. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. Full of formulas. I'm like, we have apps now that do this, so that's amazing. So there's so much stuff that we just take for granted. It's
Yeah,
pipe fitters. Like we think about pipe fitters as somebody working with pipe, right? But there's a lot to this.
it's a lot, man.
1900s. It's like all the detail of things that had to be
Oh
done, and
wow.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
probably
wild.
going too fast, but it's just the idea that all this technical stuff isn't new.
It reminds me of what we were talking about last time. Jim Bergman had bought out that old book on vacuum, and
Yes,
the one that you've got it. There it is.
of
But
course.
do you have yours signed? You probably do. But yeah, he's like, it's all old tech. Oh, you son of a gun! Unbelievable. But
When
yeah,
people
it's
are like,
all
"Oh,
Jim was saying. It's Jim was like, it's all it's been there. There were people pulling vacuums properly way back in the day. So
yeah," and
it's
people
crazy.
say, "Well, that new vacuum stuff." I'm like, it's not new.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not doing anything new. This is old stuff. I'm old school. How's that? How you like them apples?
And
It's
people tell me
crazy.
it's like, which there's more to life than the book stuff. I'm like, I 100% agree with that, but at the same time, the book is people from the past being able to talk to us. So it's
Yeah.
like Eugene Silverstein. He's the guy that wrote the book. I get to work with that guy. He is so smart.
Oh,
And so
that's
like, for
right. You
that book
work with
stuff, I'm
Eugene.
like, he's a human being. It's not like this book that came up out of the ground that's like over us. It's like, no, it's a guy who worked in the field, who's had his own company, that's done these things. Like he's literally is a human being.
Yep. It's a lot of trial and error. I'm sure we went through, but if we keep forgetting and letting, like Jim was saying, if we let marketing take over our trade again, we'll forget about it. We'll just be, you know, going back to the old Jamoke ways. Two smokes and a vacuum.
Thanks, Brian. And another Brian. Get two Brians. How many
You
ways
know
can we
what it is?
spell Brian?
Probably Brian Orr under a fake account, you know. He doesn't want to let everybody know he's watching.
Brian taught the new guy at work how to do superheat and subcooling. His in his head Friday. Awesome.
Nice.
Very cool. See, that's what I love. See, I have people that I'm constantly learning from that are challenging me. Some of the people I work with are so smart. I feel like an idiot when I'm around them just because they know so much stuff. I was talking to Jason Orbzut. He called me and he read like a 2,000 page something from the government that's coming through. And I'm like, can you just summarize that for me? Because there's no way that I can even comprehend that. He's like, so he just tells me about it. Just like, da 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 da. It's like, what do you think about this? Like, I don't know. And he tells me about it. And then, like I help other people and then those people help other people. And I think that's what we all do is we all just like help each other out, right?
We
That's what
got a
it's about.
we got a cool group of people helping each other out, man. You know, 10 years ago, you're in this trade, you feel like you're in the dark, but I feel like we finally got a cool group of people.
Oh,
Like Jason Objut is at the Hadron Particle Collider or something like that. What was it last month? He's like, hey, I'm over here testing the new A2Ls. I was like, dude, I'm pulling up on the map. You're at the Hadron Collider. Like, what's going on, bro?
right.
He's at like a national lab. something like that. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's there's so much to learn. Like, and I look back at these books and it's crazy to say how much is there. Like so much
Yeah,
information and all this new stuff we have. A lot of that comes back unsubscribed. Oh, hope I didn't
you got
upset somebody already. I didn't even get started yet.
man.
So in the 1920s, Phoenix Ice Machine Company here in Cleveland, Ohio, made ammonia ice machines and found an old compressor too big to remove from the basement. That is cool. See,
Wow.
that's what I want to do when I go up to those like up in the north because they have so much of that old stuff, especially around Cleveland, around New York. There's so much old,
Yeah.
amazing, cool things there, and I want to see those things. You know, it's there's a refrigerator museum that I want to go check out.
Yeah, I used to work in an old Grumman plant, and it was right around like when it was for the government. It was, like Rosie the Riveter type stuff.
Hmm.
Like they were building World War II airplanes, and dude, the whole warehouse was laid in balsa wood. So
Oh my gosh.
if you dropped an engine block or you dropped a something from the airplane, it would, balsa wood's real light. It was kind of like it's like walking on corkwood. But yeah, there's stuff out there that's like so cool. What you
Dustin
got?
Goals in the
Oh,
house.
what's up, my brother?
Uh, he is absolutely awesome. Like anytime you get a chance to go hang out with him, he's just a cool guy, first off. But then he knows like so much stuff and how specific his climate is with temperature and humidity. It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. He's
Is a
a really cool
building
guy.
science badass right there.
He is. He is. Um, Serviced a 1905 steam boiler when I lived in Buffalo. That, see, I mean, that's so cool. Like that
1905.
stuff
Whew,
lasts that long.
that's crazy.
Well, Total Tech, sorry that didn't meet your expectations. This, for me, is just fun. Like it's just been able to fun
Yeah,
have a live audience to talk to, hang out with cool people. And I get that it's not for everybody. That's
yeah.
okay. But
Should
it's
we give
just
him a
for me.
discount? We'll give him a discount.
You get a discount. So for
Yeah.
me, like this just helps. These are my people that love this stuff. The building science people. I mean, these are people that inspire me. The people helping other people, they inspire me. So when I get this feedback, this is good for my soul. When I get to hang out with Mike, and it's just fun for me. So I make videos all through the week for Esco. I make videos in TikTok. I get a lot of negative feedback from a lot of people. So for me, this is good. And I'm sorry that it didn't fit for everybody, but I need this. Like this is good for me. So I like this. All these people coming together and it's okay. Like if it's different for other people. Look at all the variety of people. We got like Dustin Cole, who's a building science extraordinaire, everything
Louisiana.
HVACR, like brilliant with his commercial systems and does like detailed system. Jason Johnson works on these amazing, huge stuff. Like some of the stuff he takes pictures of, I'm like, man, that is so
He does
awesome.
big commercial stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's got it down. And all these people tell you they're still learning.
Yeah, I never stop in this trade, man. I mean, unless you just want to, work in one little spot. 1910. Wow.
1910
1848.
remodeled
Oh my god.
remodeled in 1910.
Whew.
That's incredible.
Golly.
It's incredible.
I just had a comfort console for a house that was 19. I got it right here. I was doing a load calc. It
Oh,
was
your mic sounded good there when you got close.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It sounded
I was
like
doing a
it was in a
load
late
calc.
night talk show.
Yeah, right. 1930, man. Holy
Wow.
smokes. Yeah, I brought my son along. I was like, dude, you coming with me? Because, the area we live in is all new. But they had 5 companies out there, and they have a 2.5-ton unit on 800 square foot. And they just can't get it cool. It goes to 78 right around 2 o'clock. So a friend of mine, he called me. He was like, listen, come out here, do whatever you can, check out, see what's going on. So I did duct leakage, true flow grid. Well, I was going to do true flow. I didn't get to it. and I did a blower door. And what did I have on there? It was 530 CFM of duct leakage, bro. How are you gonna cool a
Wow.
house?
No,
I,
it's just
I
leaking it all.
you know,
You just need a bigger unit, right? That's what I hear all the time.
I was
Just
thinking
a
a
bigger
three
unit.
ton. Yeah,
Put it a
let's
5
go.
ton.
Put
Put
a
a 5
five
ton for
ton in.
everything.
But then
So
the blower door was 22 air changes per hour.
holy smokes.
Yeah, I was getting crazy amount of leakage through the envelope of that house. 1930s. What do you got there? Methyl chloride.
It's the superheat properties of methyl chloride.
I used to
I
know a
want
methyl up in New York.
to.
She was an
Sorry to
older
hear it.
lady though. She was older. She was like
So
80s.
I want to go back in time and talk to some of these people, like when they switched from methyl chloride and propane over to R12 and R11. Like, were they freaking out about it, or were they happy about it? Because all I know is from R12 to 134A, 22 to 14A,
Mm-hmm.
134A to 1234YF, and now we're seeing 20 410A to 32 and 454B. Man, these numbers are hard to keep up
454B.
with.
I
So
know,
it's
right?
I mean, it's amazing.
It's like remembering
Like
somebody's
you
phone number
know,
back in the 90s.
like in this book, Free on 11, like that was new. Like that was a new thing. It's just
Freon Leon 11. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, some guys get a little stressed out. New refrigerants. I get it. I get it. But
good. I'm glad that he kept that old ice box.
that's
So there's a
crazy.
guy named Dustin on TikTok, and another guy that has an antique refrigerator Facebook group on Facebook, and it's for old refrigerators. I have like 1,000 projects need to be finished, but I bought an older, like I have now 3 old refrigerators I'm going to fix up and restore. One's from like they're all from like the early 1930s or late 20s, so it's like super cool. But I don't have an ice box yet. That's my next on my list.
I seen somebody going through the reels on Facebook just redid a complete. That must be the guy you're talking about.
Probably so.
Because
I mean,
I mean, how many people out there doing 1930 fridges redone? Taking that avocado
there's
green off.
oh,
There's not too
the
many.
the
So
doors, how they open and the latches. I mean, it's so
yeah,
cool,
reminds me of
so
like a
cool.
radioactive like storage department for uranium or something. It's like I got asbestos like lining the door jamb. Is that what it's got? It's got fiberglass. Like what is
I think
that,
that was
bro?
before asbestos. I mean, asbestos used to be like this miracle chemical. I remember like everybody was
Yeah.
talking about how great it was, and then we talked about how bad it was, and now everybody's like, afraid of it. But I remember I used to have an asbestos shingle that came off of somebody's house,
Hmm.
and I used to put it behind when I was brazing. And I'm like,
Oh,
this thing is
okay.
great because it absorbed the heat. And then I was talking to a fella, he's like, get rid of that. Get rid of that right now. And I'm like, why? It works great. And he's like, well, every time you heat that up, it's putting these particles and you're breathing them.
Oh
Well, then,
man.
yeah, we all found out about mesothelioma and like all this. I'm like, oh my gosh. So like something we thought was good, had same thing with Teflon. Like we thought Teflon was amazing. And then we
Yeah.
find out, oh, we got to
Teflon's
change.
great. Just to
Well, not
spray it all over.
now.
Yeah.
Now it's
Right.
a forever chemical that, yeah.
Did you hear about the story about that? I think I mentioned that last time in another live stream.
Was that the Dark Waters or
The
something like
forever
that? The movie?
chemical. It was like DuPont had a
Yeah.
leak. Yeah, and they found that they drew somebody's blood from like World War II, and it was like that was like there was no PFAS or Teflon in their blood. Some crazy
And
story. I'll
now,
find it for you. Another
yeah,
date.
share that with me. Share that with
Randomness.
me.
Randomness though. We're on track. Yeah, so it's gotten to everybody's bloodstream, even across everywhere.
That's crazy. It's
It's
amazing
really
how like plastic is so useful, but now we just gotten like so addictive to it.
yeah.
I remember my grandfather used to say, "Don't use that plastic stuff. You can't recycle. You need glass." And I kept thinking, "Well, that's just ridiculous." And now I'm looking back, going, "Yeah, he was probably onto something."
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy stuff, and it chips off in a pan. Blah blah blah. It's crazy.
An ice machine that costs has 2,000 pounds in it. The cost of a machine that has 2,000 pounds of that refrigerant. Wow,
Wow,
that's a lot of
2,000 pounds.
that's a
That's a lot of
lot of
juice.
refrigerant. People complain about our using 5 pounds. Jason Johnson here, 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, man.
2,000 pounds of refrigerant.
What did you start off in refrigeration? Were you residential, commercial?
Well, I started out doing ductwork and actually anything sheet metal with my dad. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
went into residential installation, mainly new construction installation. And then we did
New construction.
fireplaces also. And then I got into a big company and he said, forget everything you learned and start over. And so
Yeah,
I did
right.
installation with them. Then I did maintenance. Then I got into service. And then later on, I got into refrigeration and I loved refrigeration. And then had my own company and then had a horrible divorce and then moved to Miami and started over in Miami doing refrigeration, air conditioning. And
Jeez.
then shortly after that, started teaching.
That sounds
And
like
I
my life. You
fell in
like
love with teaching.
you pretty much that's about it. Yeah,
So
residential. I
somebody
never
was,
got to work on huge stuff, man. It's cool though, like big commercial stuff. But,
so
you know, I'm too old for that right now. Mm-mm.
I wanted to be at one time I had this great idea that I was going to be a boilermaker. And the boss, he was so cool. Looking back, so cool. I wish I could go back. And he's like, okay, hey, I'm going to let you go with this crew today and you can work with them all day. And if you want to do it, then I'll support you. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So I jump on board and man, those tubes, we're cutting out all those tubes and pulling those tubes covered in soot from top to bottom, scrubbing everything, cleaning it, the chainmail running in, heavy, everything's heavy, everything's hot. I'm like, nope, I'm good with that. And then I had this great idea. I wanted to be a chiller technician. And so I spent a few weeks on that one. Like we were up in the cooling towers in winter, spraying them down,
Yeah.
scraping all the stuff off the bottom and coating it. And it's like, okay, well, now you get to work in the chiller. Yes, we get to go inside. And then so we had that we're punching those tubes and there's water
Yeah.
everywhere. And I was like,
Oh man.
this was fun for the first, few hours. And after that, I'm like,
Right.
I am so bored. I can't remember what tube I've done. I had to start over. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, not for me. So no, it's cool. Like the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Right? Oh man. Everything has its pros and cons, but I always tell people like when they're starting out, I'm like light commercial, not as much of a homeowner situations. You don't have to deal with homeowners and personalities. And residential, you do, but it's not so heavy a work as commercial is. Like pulling stuff up to the roof, big compressors. Getting with companies that don't do all the rules. They tell you to do a compressor, you blow your back out. It's the size of a V8.
I love those big compressors. Like
So
now
cool.
that I know how to work it, like because the first guys I worked for when we had those big semi-hermetics, like it was busting back to try to get everything
Yeah.
moving. But then I learned you don't have to do that. Like,
No.
set up boards, run dollies across the roof. They
Right?
got like
Yeah.
jacks, lift things up, slide it into place. It's like it was just insane. Like the guy was like, no, you have to do it this way. You're gonna have to lift. I'm like, man, I need to go
Dude.
back and kick myself in the butt for trying to that.
And I'm looking above me and I see an I-beam to like you have a come along and like do it the right way, but I'm afraid to say anything. I probably would have lost my job right there. That probably would have been the best thing to happen to me at that refrigeration company. Yep.
So, did you see the post on the Grapevine show that from Eric saying that the Measure Quick now has like all of the numbers on one screen?
Oh yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
And did you? It was a
I,
screenshot.
oh, that's
They're
right.
bringing in screenshots.
Bringing it
I
back.
am so excited. I've been doing tech support volunteer like here and there, and trying to get the information from people is so difficult. And then they send you
Yeah,
pictures of the field piece, which I like the field piece, but it's lacking a lot of information. So I'm having to like by
yeah.
hand do everything. So them
It's gonna.
bringing the Measure Quick
It's
app
good
back,
for you.
like for screenshots. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm
So
so
what is it
excited.
in the new update? I haven't grabbed my tablet yet.
So I couldn't find it right away, and then Eric told me that you have to do the beta version. Is it called beta or beta? I
Okay.
don't even
Yeah.
know. So
Depends
that's
on
what
what
we
side of the country you're on.
I guess so. Hopefully it's going to be better. If it's screenshots, it's going to be better.
It's gonna be better.
So like super
Okay.
excited about
Cool.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna download it, man. I'm just so used to the old version though. What do you got there?
What is that?
That's a little sight glass. Nice.
It is a sight glass. So I built my ductless unit here for the studio, and I also like added a bunch of service ports and I added a bunch of sight glasses and like stuff to do testing. I got like
Yeah.
a drain view stuff in it. It's like it's just here, it's fun.
Oh,
And
so
then a
that
lot
was
of
the
people are,
video you did was your unit. Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that at a customer's house. No way. Yeah, absolutely not.
Why not?
Like there's so many things cringe with this unit. Like there's no rubber feet on it. It's sitting on like Haytal blocks that are turned sideways. I mean, like there's no line set cover. Like there's a lot of problems with the unit. Like it's not an install, just for demonstration purposes. And people saw the sight glasses and they were flipping out. Oh my gosh.
Were they really?
I deleted a bunch of comments and like you can't charge with the sight glass. I'm like, you're not supposed to charge with the sight glass. It's number one, a moisture indicator. It's not showing up. Where
Yeah.
it says wet and dry. Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
that's right. You were. It was dry in the video. It was dry on both sides. Well, of
It's
course.
not
I
going to
mean,
show. So
but
yeah, it's telling you if there's any moisture. Now you need to get the ones either from Copeland or Sporland because they have a finer parts per million that they go to.
mhm,
But it's
mhm.
telling you if you have any moisture. Number one, number two. So just for that alone, like you can put them
Yeah,
anywhere you want. But also before a TXV on any system, because you can tell that you're getting a full column of liquid to that metering device.
yeah,
So I did another post, a follow-up post saying, hey, put these in before your TXV and it helps your diagnostics because so many line sets run across the attic, you lose your subcooling before you get to your metering device. And so here we can look at this and say, hey, I have bubbles in here. I have subcooling outside. I don't have anything at my metering device. So we can look at it and see, hey, there's bubbles in there. Now we know that
yeah,
we're somewhere between this point and that point. We're losing our subcooling. We can go
yep,
find it. Maybe it's a kink, a filter dry, like whatever it is. Oh my gosh, people are like, no, a sight glass is only for charging. And I'm sure the people in the chat will know. You know how many times I've been to systems, even refrigeration systems, that were overcharged because somebody tried doing it with the sight glass and also undercharged by doing
Oh,
it with the sight
really?
glass.
Wow.
So here's an
Okay.
example. You go to a refrigeration system. They're supposed to be working people get mad at information. It's so
Right?
true.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you,
Sean.
Sean. Yeah.
Uh, so on a residential system, if this is outside, it should be before the metering device. But if you try charging it to where this is clear, that could just be like 1 degree of subcooling,
Oh, really? Okay.
and you need 10, so you would be undercharged. On a refrigeration system, I see them overcharged all the time because people will charge it by the sight glass, and it'll be a
Hmm.
hot box. So by the time you
Oh,
charge it
okay.
to the sight glass is full and the meter device is fully open, it's letting all the refrigerant flow through. Then by the time the meter device gets down to where the box drops where it needs to be, we control
Right.
the flow in the meter device and everything backs up in the condenser or floods that receiver. It's a problem. So it's an eyeball into the system. It's a
Yeah.
window to the unit.
It's a window to the soul of the
But I'm
AC.
surprised so many people,
And you could
didn't
see
know that.
self-tapping screws float by there too, which is nice. You remember that? Remember that picture?
Yes.
That was so
Yes.
crazy. I was like,
This
no.
This,
Who was that?
yes, a sight glass on the suction side. Now, I don't recommend putting sight glass on the suction side because if it does freeze, then we could have an issue. But for a training
Oh,
unit,
right.
it's great. You can show
Yeah.
the superheat. Like you can
Yeah.
see, like if you have a stopped up evaporator coil or bad airflow, you can see that you're getting liquid come back to the compressor. So it's
And
great for
for
training.
everybody out there that saw Ty's video and they don't work on mini splits, um, yeah, the TXV is inside the condensing box, right? You
Yep,
mentioned that on the video, right? Yeah.
yep.
Which is, that's why you were getting some flashing in there.
And that's the whole reason I put sight glasses on because I got them outside and inside. I got 4 sight glasses in this ductless unit. I have 5 service ports. Like it's crazy, but
What'd you do?
it's a
Did you sweat them in, or
some
did
of
you
them.
do
I think
like
all these
a?
I sweated in, but they do make these that are flare. You can
Okay,
flare them in.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's crazy. People
Oh,
get bent out of
oh my
shape
gosh.
with stuff they don't know.
Yes, it's not a liquid line. It's so true. It's not a liquid. It's a saturated line. You can even call it an expansion line because refrigerant's expanding, but
Yeah,
it's definitely not a true liquid line.
yeah.
So I've had so many people are upset on the video because they're like, you're dumping high pressure liquid. I'm like, well, you don't know how mini split works. And but yeah, it's great because we can see stuff. And then I got to thinking on this mini split, I have that the sight glass on the suction side, and
Hmm.
you don't need one there. But I know that I had overcharged this unit by a little bit, and this unit that I put in, like, I have the name covered up. It's a cheap Chinese unit. I mean, it's like the one of the cheapest ones you could possibly get. I don't even know how they can make it and ship it for as cheap as they do.
I know, right?
I don't expect it to last long. So I know that I overcharged it because I only had to add a few ounces. And by the time I closed my tank off and bled that last little bit in, it was overcharged. And on the suction side, I know that you should have 1 to 0 superheat, but I was getting a lot of liquid coming back on the suction side. I could see it with the sight glass.
Oh, that's right. Right. You were saying that in the video.
And I
Yeah.
said in the video, something's wrong. I already knew what it was, but I was like, yeah, something's wrong with the system. And people are like, no, it's supposed to be that way. I'm like, man, if we think about we have a
Liquid coming
suction
back to
line
the compressor.
accumulator,
Yeah.
it's going to overfill. And if that accumulator does overfill, it's going to go to the compressor.
Yeah.
Yep.
How could somebody say that's okay?
Yeah. So, but I don't mind people not knowing and people asking questions. There's so many things
Right.
I don't know about, and I ask questions to people all the time, and they're like, this guy, like when I talk to Jim Bergman, he's like, well, you should know that. I'm like, yeah, I should. I don't. Help me out here, Jim. Come on. So like there's a lot of things I feel like I should know and I don't, and I'm around these people all the time
Sometimes we
learning.
skip stuff, man. I
The
mean,
the
why
the,
do they put the TXV in the condenser on a main? Why? Why didn't they
the
throw it?
difference is
Why didn't they throw it in
somebody
the head?
asking a question and
Yeah.
like they don't know and ask, and I'll be glad. I'll make a video explaining it a lot of times, versus somebody going, "That's stupid. You're an idiot. That would never be blah blah blah." I'm like, okay, see, like here's the difference. Like there's not knowing. I don't care. That's fine. And then there's not knowing,
Yeah.
acting like you know everything. I'm like, you're the one that irritates me.
I,
It's okay that
I,
you don't
I
know.
see. A lot of people disagree with Corbett Lunsford, but I like the slogan he says. He goes, "I'm an idiot," and you just start there. It's like, hey, not no everybody in the chat, everybody that watches, they all started from zero knowledge.
Yeah.
Come on, you know. All right, I'll get off that pedestal there.
Like I said, this is just us just relaxing on a Sunday, just talking, having fun. Man,
Yeah.
it's already 7:48, 48 minutes of us.
So
A lot
have
of guys
you
would
you
freak
tried
out
your
when they
True
see a
Flow?
superheat.
You tried the True Flow yet?
It's still in the box. And
Oh,
the reason because I had to go to Dallas. I get to hang out with the Linux people. Now I know that
that's right.
people are on
You were
their
all over the
brands,
place.
but what was cool was
Yeah.
like being at the Linux training center. And this is where they have that 3-week course that they have, and then they have like a bunch of other courses. Trainers that have been at Linux for like 20 plus years. I mean, tons of knowledge. They redid their whole training center. It was
Nice.
awesome. Like
That's cool.
it was really, really, really cool. And like the things that they're wanting to do and how they're wanting to help more training. I thought that was awesome. Anytime anybody's doing anything with training, I'm like all for it. Like I
Yeah.
don't care what brand is, like I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm jonesing for another
Ice
training thing.
for
I got
sure. So I
I
was
got
like
to
super happy with that. So the box is here and I'm like itching to do it, but I gotta like finish up these other few little things so that I can focus on it.
You're a busy
Otherwise
guy, I understand. You're a busy guy.
I'll end up with another unstarted project. So
I had a good one, man. Customer of mine, I've been doing maintenances for 4 years. He calls me up. It's a newer house. It's under 10 years old, the house, right? He calls me up. He's like, come over doing maintenance, right? It's leaking. I hear drips. I was like, all right. And I was like, he's like, just doing maintenance. I was like, well, I don't know. It sounds a little funny. You ever hear like when you put your hand over like a blower and you hear it just kind of like free spin? It was making a weird noise, like a fluttering. I was like, you know what? Hold up. Let me go get my True Flow, right? I pop it on there, and it's a 3-ton, and I got like 800 CFM on a 3-ton. I was like, what is going on here? This thing, I mean, nobody goes there. So
and
from
now you
install, somebody put it on speed tap. You familiar with the Gentech motor?
mhm.
Speed tap 4 is for heat. So I think they were trying to get a little bit more airflow. And I was like, what is going on? It should be 450 CFM per ton. So I drop it down to speed tap 3. I got a little bit more airflow, but the TrueFlow grid diagnosed a bad module or a bad motor. So I gotta get it ordered. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get it ordered. Do a video on it or something. But that was pretty weird. Yeah.
This was funny the whole time for Linux. What I wanted to do was call into tech support because we walked right past the technical support area, like all the booths. And I was like, hey, we should call into tech support and walk through the offices and like see who answers and like talk, And then
and see what they're
like,
doing.
We don't have 4 hours to wait. I was like, okay, good points.
They're like, can you please hold? And they go back and they put popcorn in and make a little hot cocoa.
Oh, there's their own cafeteria there. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Speaking of chillers, HVAC Time has started up a, and I only say Jason Johnson because he worked with him. He started up his own little chiller academy.
Nice.
And so if somebody wants to learn about chillers, it's pretty affordable. And he's got a lot of video, a lot of information about chillers. So Jason over here is answering questions about the auxiliary contacts and a 3-pole contactor, which he's doing awesome. I don't have one here. I'm a show guy. But it's pretty cool. So if somebody wants to learn about chillers and these things, first go follow Jason Johnson on his YouTube channel because he's got some really great videos. And then find HVAC Time and then find out about where his little program is, his little class is. It's pretty neat.
I wonder if I got him on there. I'm going to have to subscribe myself. Jason Johnson.
Jason Johnson. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of really great people here in the chat today. Sorry, guys, we didn't have anything lined out and planned. It was just couldn't get everything together in time.
Yeah, you had something crazy, but I don't blame you, man. What is that?
Look at this, and then wait till I get to the back. It has an A2L sticker on the back.
Oh my goodness!
So
cool.
Somebody on TikTok posted this, and it's from Etsy, and I think they're sold out now. But I'm like, that is a complete waste of money. But for whatever reason, I have to have this. So it's like one of my newest.
I'm gonna make you a gold chain, and you're gonna be the HVAC Flavor Flav. I'm gonna put that around your neck.
Have you seen the guy with the reversing valve necklace?
Oh no! But you're gonna send that to me. Throw that in the grapevine. I got to see that.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, he does these like the prank video stuff. He's got a gold reversing valve with the big chain around it.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Fun stuff.
That is too funny.
Fun stuff.
Holy smokes!
Yes. Ooh. Well, Mike, I don't, unless anybody else has any questions in there, I have about talked about everything I know to talk about.
Yeah. The only thing I got this week was finally got a response back from that load count guy from that home performance job I did 2 weeks ago. We asked the load count guy, why was there 16 people in the house? I forgot what she said. She got a response back from the engineer. And the engineer said, which I was like, I gotta hear this. Where is it? Hold on, I'm gonna do a search. I apologize. I want to get the wording right. So he said, blah, 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 the room. Because he explained that he estimated 2 people per room in the original report. He deals with mostly larger homes, and his clientele, they want to really be as cold as possible. Okay, that was his explanation of putting 16 people in a 1,700 square foot home for a load count.
So he's working the numbers to try to make a.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just.
Yeah. Because my load count came up 2.5 to 3 tons. And, I put whatever whatever the house calls for. They got 4 people. I put 4 people in there.
I,
The numbers are the numbers. But he's trying to compensate for, I guess, for bad installs. Who the heck knows, man? But that's all I got, man. It was a 1930s home. It was a slow week.
man, 1930s. That's
Was
cool though.
that was fun.
But I mean, so many people have it in their minds that you have to have a bigger unit, and then so when the load cat comes out, then they're like, oh, I don't like that number. So then they go and like add extra people. They'll
Yeah.
reduce the insulation in a load cat to make the numbers that they want,
Mhm.
and then they try saying, oh no, the load cat's good. I was talking to somebody 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about furnaces and heat pumps, and they said that their furnace works great. And I was like, how? I said, I think your furnace is oversized. How long does it run on the coldest day? Like the coldest day.
Right.
He goes,
There you
oh,
go.
our furnace is so awesome. It runs for 10 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
I'm like, it's not oversized. It's massively
Yeah.
oversized. So
The
like,
walls
no,
of the
it
house
doesn't
don't
run
even get
long. That's
warm.
good. I'm like, instead of having a unit that's massively oversized, that only runs for a few minutes, that loses all of its efficiency, and it's going to be hard to furnace, that would put it in use uses a whole lot less fuel that stays and provides constant comfort and runs longer. People think that runtime is a bad thing, and it's not. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's tough out there, man. When you got engineers putting 16 people in houses when it don't need to be.
Sorry about that, okie dokie. That was my fault. I had this grandiose idea that I have this compressor outside, a whole condensing unit that was that was diagnosed as being a bad compressor, and so I had it outside set up. And my plan was to do a show outside with that. And I was trying to get everything together in time, and the grinder, and I couldn't find everything, and I didn't want to put the show up ahead of time and then not have it like
Not
that.
deliver, right?
Not deliver. So I was like putting it off to get everything, and then I just couldn't get it done in time. I was stressing about it, so I thought, you know what? We're just gonna talk, just hang out and chat. Like
that's it.
Nothing planned tonight. So that's why I didn't get any notification, because there wasn't really a class or thing to talk about. It's just us, us chatting around.
Chilling out, chatting. That's
Turbo core compressor, the train ones, huh? It's
core.
The data centers. I got a friend of mine in Las Vegas that works at one of these data centers.
Oh,
the
okay.
technology is incredible. There's stuff like, I can't tell you. Like, there's stuff that I want to tell you that I can't, that we do there.
Really?
But you're talking about all this information, like Google's there. Like, there's so many of these.
Oh, okay.
Information.
Yeah, I watched
giants.
this documentary where it takes so much for AI to work and compute that they have to use like wind turbine power and all this crazy stuff. And you know what's funny? I just got done watching The Matrix on Netflix with my son because they were going to give it the boot. And dude, the whole premise of that movie is they use humans for batteries.
Yeah, right.
That's how much electric they use.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
So at the data centers, they have so many different ways of cooling and backup systems and backup to backup systems. They're using geothermal, evaporative cooling, like refrigerant cooling, everything, because there's so much cooling that goes on. Oh, here's this. A 15,000 square foot commercial office building, an engineering company, and there was 20 tons too much. 20 tons.
20 tons.
That's insane.
But it cools real good, though. It cools real good.
And it's cool. Our humidity's high. We're going to have to tear the building down because there's mold.
Dude, every engineer is like Trump. They're like, it cools great. It's better than anything. It cools in 5 minutes, the whole commercial building. I don't understand. Like, why is everybody, they oversize everything so crazy? It just blows my mind, man.
Congratulations, Jason. In 2 or 3 weeks, he's starting his next adventure in the trade. Work for an OEM.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Like, so he's already stepping up twice. That's amazing.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations, man. Let's see. Low load will cause surging. It's not as common, but it happens. Oh, I guess I missed something on that one. The turbo core is magnetic bearing compressor. No oil. Shaft levitates in a magnetic field. So I've seen these at AHR. And even before that, I remember they were first talking about them when I went to York. They had the magnetic bearings. I got to see the factory in San Antonio. but I've never got to work on them. I've never got to actually see one in person running.
And this is all commercial stuff, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. This
Okay.
is chillers. But it's
Chiller stuff.
like so I
It's like
haven't got to
alien
see one of those in
technology.
person. Yes, yes, alien technology for sure.
Yeah, I'm just
No, it's
afraid they're gonna find some special alien technology will be all out of all out of work.
well, maybe we're already using alien technology. I mean, who
That's
knows?
good. Yeah.
Like the conspiracy side of it, I got some friends that are like very much conspiracy stuff, and I'm like, I don't care. I just don't. I got too much to worry about as it is, like trying to pay bills and keep learning new stuff and making videos. Like I really don't, call me a jerk. I just don't care. I don't
As
care.
Sweet Brown said, and nobody got time for that.
You get it figured out, and then like go
Yeah,
do something, make
exactly.
a change.
Hook it up to my house.
That's right.
And put one of those generators. Remember the guy that was all over YouTube like 10 years ago?
Which one?
He was putting capacitors on like the main service box, and they were selling this box. It was just capacitors. Like, oh, you're gonna drop your electric by like 50%. It's like one of those deals, and it was just capacitors though. It was crazy.
I remember that there used to be these
magnets
that you put on the fuel line, and it atomized the fuel and made your car get twice the fuel mileage. I was like,
Did it again. Damn camera.
that's not how that works. Like
Oh,
and I
yeah.
see all this stuff for the air cleaners. It's like, oh hey, put this in, and it seeks out bad organic compounds and attacks them, and just disappears afterwards.
Hydroxy radicals. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's what I want.
It's like it's easy to have a tagline that says makes the air clean, like easy to say, and then like the science to disprove it, it takes more words to disprove it. So you can't just put it on a bumper sticker, right? You can't just put it inside of a box saying, hey, it's crazy. Like people come to me, I'll do a video about something and I'll disprove something and I show why and how, and then people come back, yeah, but like some quick tagline. I'm like, if you can give every example in a quick tagline, like you don't understand everything else that's happening. Like being able to explain something is important, but also, I don't know. Like every video I do is like somebody's like, oh, well, yeah, but X, Y, and Z. And then I explain it, and then they don't ever reply. And then somebody else goes back, yeah, but what about? It's just like this never-ending. Yeah, but what if? But what if? But what if? But
you know what you got to do? I was watching Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And he goes, never read the comments.
You
got to hire me. I'll do it for you pro
bono. And that's true. I agree with that.
But it's cool though. You reach out to your people a lot like that, and you make new videos. I get that.
So it does inspire me to like. So people have great questions, and they're like, "Well, how does this work?" And so I love that interaction because I'm not teaching in a classroom. So I'm like, "Let me show you because this is cool."
Let's make a video.
I get excited, and then other people see it, and then they learn, and they get excited. It's like fun. Like everybody's having fun. People are asking questions. I'm getting to show stuff. People are learning. It gives me energy to show more stuff. Like it's fun. Like it's really energizing, and then people are excited to learn. It's great. So the other side of that is
the hate is going to.
I know a lot of people. Well, that's true, but a lot of people they get big, and then you have to like pay to subscribe to get in contact with them, like the Patreons and all that. And I have nothing wrong with that at all. But it's just like I don't want somebody to have to pay money to have to access to ask me a question. So it's like
right.
But now I'm kind of getting to where it's just like so much negativity and stuff. Like I delete comments like constantly, and it's like it's hard to balance, right? So it kind of gets like there's so much so now sometimes I find myself responding to people with a little bit more grit, a little bit more jab than I used to, just because I'm defensive now. It's like
don't let them change you. Don't let them get
like,
to you.
So I just delete so many comments. It's like people are mad about the new refrigerants, and I get it. Nobody likes change. But then it's just like every time I'm doing a video about how to get people prepared, and you send me to a video and it's a minute and 30 seconds, but it may take like 30 minutes or an hour to set up the camera, get everything done, record it, shrink it down, get rid of all my stuttering and all of the
Oh,
stupid stuff, the cuss words when I screw up, like edit all that down and then put it on there. So when they're seeing that video, it's like, it takes time
yeah. Why do
to
you
do
think
that, and it's okay.
my YouTube is all YouTube Shorts? What? Why do you think it's
And then you
done?
get people coming on there just like pooping on it, and then they're just like turning
Yeah,
it
it's
into like
tough.
this, all this negative, like, oh, the government, like, cool. I understand you don't like the refrigerants, but this is not the place for it. Like, and then I want to
Yeah.
say, what are you doing about it? Like, if you're that mad about it, what are you doing about it?
Oh, that's so
What are you
funny.
doing?
I was
You
watching
know?
something not HVAC related, and they said the same freaking thing today. That's crazy. Yeah, if you hate the industry and they're changing, then what are you doing? You help it, make it better. Like Brian Orr petitioned. I signed the petition that we weren't ready for the new A2Ls. I just needed a little bit more time. Did it help?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I think they let us install equipment like another 6 months.
Mhm.
There you go.
It did help because
Yeah,
people put in their word. It helped. We got an
there you
extension
go.
on package units, and we also got an extension on VRF systems. So,
There you
like,
go.
we have
So
some
stop
input and say
complaining
in it.
and do something about it.
Do something. Like, yeah, like,
Stop being. Stop bitching.
it's like you can complain about it all you want, just not on my
Yeah,
videos. Like, I want to like
yeah,
be fun and have fun and people ask questions and learn. Anyways, it's just like the part of social media. I guess now that I don't keep up with like how many people I have, but I guess as more
yeah.
people
What do you
share
got?
stuff, you get a wider net, and then you get more people coming in. I don't know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
but
you're on
um,
the young kids deal, right? You're on the Instagrams and
I
the
am on the
TikToks.
Instagrams and TikToks. But when you look at my demographics, it's people. My viewers are mainly from 25 to 55.
Oh, really?
I have
Okay.
very few people under 18 watching
Good
my
God, man! You got
stuff.
49,000 subscribers on the YouTube.
Wow,
Shoosh,
that's awesome. I never
dude,
thought it would
that's
be
awesome, dude.
that would that's wow. Could have got goosebumps. I never thought it would be. So yeah, so when you get more people, there's going to be, I guess, more
Yeah,
positive and negative stuff.
you're gonna get some negative Nancy's out there.
So I just started deleting. And some people though, they're like, I don't want to block them because they're good people, but they just get so hung up on that negative loop, and it just starts. It's like, no,
Yeah,
help me, and I just start getting drug in.
yeah,
Sometimes probably be like, why are you in a bad mood? I'm like, well, Bob, and it's like, who cares? You've only seen
dude.
him once,
It's so
or
funny you
maybe
mention
not at
that
all.
because there's a guy, a YouTuber that I watch, and he makes good videos. But I was watching his video today. I was like, I think he hates HVAC. He's the opposite of Ty. Like I'm like, and he makes good videos. It was so. I was like, all right, I'm turning the TV off.
I see. That's my problem. Is I care. I
Yeah.
care
Yep.
about the people of HVAC. I care about the trade, but I care about the people. So I care about our customers, making sure that we give them the options to do the right thing. So I hate it when people are
Yeah.
like, you should never change a compressor. Maybe yes and maybe no, but give them the option. It's not a. It's 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 all across. Like, there's so many options. You can't just say you should never change a compressor. Like, give them the option. Maybe it's a good decision, maybe it's not, but give them the options. So I care about the customer, and I also
Yeah.
care about us, the workers, the people doing the work. So
Yeah.
it super frustrates me when like I want people to do better. I want us to be seen as professionals. Like I want us to be seen as not labor, as professional people. Like look at Jason. Okay, take a look at Jason Johnson and how he's grown in the last 5 years. Like he's grown tremendously. The information that he has that he's posting and how his career's changed, like it's done wonders for his life. And he's had a lot of things he's had to overcome that people don't know about, but he is like rocking it, right?
Yeah.
He's driven into learning new stuff. And I love that. And he sees that benefit. So I want like I'm an optimist. Like I want everybody to be lifted up. I want all of us to do all these really cool stuff. Like Mike, I've seen you grow from when you started the HVAC show,
Yeah,
from
dude.
the Grapevine to now. Like the things that you talk about, and you've grown. And I love that. I
Yeah.
get so excited about that.
It's
So
because all
I'm always
people
like,
like you and all the guys in our community just
so
lifting everybody up, man. It's
I'm
cool.
such an optimist. Like everybody's going to have fun. Everybody's gonna. And then I realize that some people don't want it, and that's okay. But some people are just miserable and they want to share that. And I have to remind myself, hey, I can't reach everybody, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I can't make everybody understand the bigger picture, and it's okay. Oh my gosh, Clifton back. Oh my gosh, Clifton. So
Oh
I get to
man.
work. I get to work with him. I get to work with him. So Clifton is he's so smart. And he writes stuff, he creates the courses, he does the live show, he goes and travels and stuff. Like I don't know how he does all these things that he does, but then he figures stuff out. So like I have the oscilloscope and I've been having fun. We're getting off topic. There wasn't a topic. So
That's what
I
this
uh
is about. This live stream is about randomness. Come on now.
I got
You're
an
on
oscilloscope and
topic finally.
I've been playing with it. I've been having fun with it. Like I'm like, yeah, I got an oscilloscope. I'm looking at the sine waves. I'm learning
Yeah.
stuff. And then like Clifton's over here and he's like dissecting like the sine waves and telling you exactly how the AC and the DC rides in each other. And I'm just like,
That's
that's so
awesome.
cool. Like I have a whole other level, but I get to work with them. And like he figured out a way for the infrared remotes. Look at this. He has a show every Thursday. The
Oh,
infrared
dude, I
remote,
know. He's
right?
setting the bar a little too high. He's doing too good.
Now, we all know that this remote puts out the light pulses, but he captured it with the scope. Like
Oh,
he
no
set up a
way.
scope,
Really?
captured it, and was able to slow down and speed it up, and he showed it on the camera so we could see the pulses on it. I was like,
That's
that's
crazy.
amazing.
That is
So
nuts.
I get to hang out with people like this. So like on one hand, I'm like trying to like pull people up, and the other hand, I got people
Yeah.
thinking, how can I ever be as cool as these people? Like we got Renee Tomlinson, Howard Weiss, we got Eugene Silverstein, Jason Zoot,
Yeah.
Clifton Beck, like all these brilliant people. And I'm like, guys, you guys have to hold me up because
Did you see his
I'm
episode where
still
he had
learning.
the Einstein wig on?
Oh yeah, like me and
Dude, that
him,
was
we
awesome.
are all into the wigs
He was
and like
I think it had Fallon from High Side Chemicals on that episode. It was a trip. So funny.
he is so
Like
like
he's killing it, man. I'm like, oh my
he is.
god.
He is.
Oh,
So we need to,
rifle night scope. Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
we need
So
to
what
actually do an
was that
episode on
recent? That
ADHD
episode? I gotta check
this
that
Thursday.
out.
Yeah, Thursday. So like I'm going through the PowerPoint, just like, man, I don't know how I can keep up with all of that stuff. And then he goes in the show and he's just like, boom, 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 and I'm like, man,
Yeah, he's killing it. That's
there's
what I'm
like
saying.
so much. So sometimes you'll see me on that show and I'm kind of quiet because I'm like I'm learning with everybody else because there's so much in there.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's like
So yeah, Jason Johnson, he's using oscilloscope all the time,
okay.
right? So I
Chef
can't wait to find
Fulch
out about
and
this OEM.
on a VF driven. Okay, yeah, VFDs. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So and it's not volunteer fire department, right? If you're from the West Texas like me. So here's another fun thing of my thousand
Which is
project.
another place, the fire department, where they oversize the tonnage on. Uh huh.
So I need a fire truck. Speaking of which, so that I can do some videos and people won't complain about me being unsafe. 'Cause I have some videos I want to do with fire. Anyways, but I do have a frequency drive, a full size frequency drive,
Hmm.
and a huge 3-phase blower, and a wind tunnel now. So a friend of mine named Mike Lindsay, he used to work at a laboratory, testing laboratory, and he taught me a lot of stuff. And so he donated, he had it at a school. The school got rid of it. So he had it at home and he donated it to the school I was working at. So got it all set up. And then we had this banker take over the school. And he's like, I heard that they'd torn it up. And I was just heartbroken. But evidently they put it in a storage container. And so when I was up there, they're like, hey, do you want this? I'm like, yes, I have no place to put it. I have way too many projects going on, but I can't let this, somebody's got to save this. So now I have a wind tunnel, a 3-phase blower, a frequency drive, without the knowledge to know how to like restore it back to how it needs to. And we're talking like the TEC, not that nice, but it's
So you're
like
talking about like the Chamber of Truth, the wind tunnel?
it's like a chamber of an older chamber of truth. Yes, I have
What,
one now. I don't know what I'm going
bro?
to do with it. So like I talked to Steven
Call
Rogers. I'm like,
Chris.
hey, do you guys
Oh,
need
there you
this?
go.
And they're building a new building 'cause everything's new and fancy, and
Yeah,
so I don't see that they didn't really show a
yeah,
lot of
they're
interest in
building
it.
a
But
new
I'm like, if you
building. I
guys want
forgot.
it, I just need to pay for the gas to get up there and let me drop this thing off. but I'm gonna have to, I guess, build a building for it, and I guess I'm gonna have to learn how wind tunnels work
Wow.
because I have a wind tunnel now. Amongst my
So
other
like
thousands
you can create
projects.
like airplane wings and see the drag on them.
No, where you're that's what I thought at first, but it's just like testing flow.
Just
So I
flow.
can hook up an
Yep.
air handler and I can calculate precisely. It's like a massive precision flow hood, except that has these cones. There's 4 cones
Hmm.
inside that are registered with the United States government. Like they're precision.
That's like,
They got
yeah, the
serial
Chamber of
numbers on. Like
Truth he was telling me.
it's a
Yeah.
big deal. Like so,
That is so
um,
crazy,
I
dude.
don't know. It's like I should probably really find somebody that could really use this thing, or a school that would actually use it, and I would probably hook them up with it. I just wanted to play with the frequency drive and the blower and stuff, make some videos, but then I don't know.
Put it on eBay for like 50 grand.
It probably could. Like it's probably might not be a bad idea, but
And we can get all that equipment. We get get a whole new live stream thing. I'm just messing with you.
so yeah, so Clifton Beck's on the show, and then we had Jim Bergman on it. We had all these people. Tony was on the show. All these really cool people on the show, and it's just us, BSing over here.
Yeah, right.
It's like I was like, we should have had the compressor open that. We had everybody here
Son of
today.
a gun.
We could have been grinding the compressor. So like maybe next week. I don't know. We'll see. Like I hadn't, and that's why I waited so long to do this because I just couldn't get everything together in time. But it's okay. Like it's just
Yeah.
us having fun.
No, it's nice to have just like a chill. Yeah, talk about a couple of stuff from the week. That's good.
So
You
my
know.
mom wants one of these cups, but it's not a
Oh,
cup. It's just a sticker. I'll give you a sticker, but it's just a sticker that I put on my ADHD cup. So it's just a sticker. It's not like it's one of my. It's not like I had cups made. So I had these stickers made, and I was like, yeah, I love it because it took forever. Like so much work went into this logo.
that's awesome.
Making the face and like kind of made it, the eyes
Yeah.
at 2 different points, and then the fire. Like I don't know, way more went into it than it needed to do, and so I'm like super excited to get them in, and my dad, and I love my dad. My dad's like, well, that's kind of looks like an angry face. Like that's kind of is that your logo? And I'm like, I was crushed, man. I was crushed. I'm like, and then mom and dad's like, why didn't you give us a sticker? Because you didn't like them. So now my mom's like, I want one of those cups. Well, it's just a sticker, but I'll get you a sticker. I need to order more. Haven't I got to get some to everybody.
You got to put them on the YouTube channel thing. Get like a little shop thing going on. People could buy
I,
them.
I and see, I don't want to be the guy selling stuff.
I'll put them
Like
for
I don't.
cost price. 50
And then you
cents.
gotta have like inventory, and then you
Yeah,
gotta
that's
mail
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
And let's
Yeah.
forget, like I have probably 6 people that I promised that I would mail them out,
Yeah.
and I've lost. I gotta find where I haven't done it. Like I get distracted ever since I had my surgery. It derailed like everything I was gonna go
Yeah.
do. It's like I was completely derailed, and so I'm trying to get back on things. But no, I know me. I know that I am not organized enough to like do mailing stuff out. So
Yeah.
I
And
just
people
I just
don't
know my
realize it
limitations.
takes a lot of work to like find
Woo!
somebody to,
Look who we
pull it
got.
up.
Look who we got in the house. Boom!
Reliable
Right here.
HVAC.
Whoops. How do you guys? Yeah, here's somebody who's actually good at podcasting. Reliable HVAC, right? He's cool. I got to be on his show. Whoop whoop. I need to go hang out
Nice.
with him because he's not that far from me. He's only like 6 hours from me, so we got to go
Oh,
hang
that's
out.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, he's cool. He's really cool. And then Jason has my sticker in his hard hat. That's awesome. So I'm hoping that I can. My plan is to make some patches. I want to make more stickers and give out to people. And my thing is, like, when I meet somebody in person, I want to be able to give them a sticker because people's like, "Man, I like what you're doing," and I feel bad because like I want to lift other people up. I don't do well when people are complimenting me, so I want to be like give somebody something. So I want to give them a sticker, not just a card, like a sticker.
Yeah.
But then also I want to think I make some patches up for some like, and they're expensive. Oh my gosh! So I thought for some of my close people, be like, hey, here's a patch, but I got to save up some money because those are kind of pricey.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Um, just let me know when, for
Sweet.
sure. Like, oh, and Mike, I know we're going past our time. A lot of feedback. People like they're really liking you. A
Oh,
lot of
cool.
people are saying that we work well together and that
I appreciate you having me on, man. I really do.
no, this is fun. So
I'm
like
gonna.
when I'm doing work, like I'm in here, it's like I'm isolated, and then when I do social media, it's like you're an idiot. It's like you're wrong. So when when I get to hang out with you and all my people here,
Yeah,
it's like it reminds
exactly.
me, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
there's great people that care, and I get to see faces,
Yeah,
and
dude. Dude.
and it relaxes me. And then Pearlie can ask her like after the show, like I'm on a high. She's like, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I'm like, I'm full of energy.
Yeah. Let's watch a movie. No, I'm going to bed. Yeah, that's why it's so cool, just hanging out with you know, Eric and Chris for so long. You get
Yeah.
all that knowledge weekly. I'm like, yo, go ahead, give me more. Yeah, what else you got? Like he was telling me about the stuff at TEC with the Chamber of Truth. Like, I was like, what is
Well,
going on, bro? It's so cool, so cool.
up and coming projects, because I have, not enough unfinished projects as it is. I like to tell people I'm starting another unfinished project, but I'm trying to get 220 volts into my room. And my goal is to be able to put a plug in an air handler, and I'm going to put some ductwork in here. So once I get the true flow kind of figured out, I figured, hey, we can do a live with the true flow grid. Like I can
Oh,
do
that'd be
some like little
cool.
things. We can see stuff. Like we can try different things. So, but I just got to finish. I just got to finish it. That's all it is. Like, but I'm gonna get power in here. Having the air conditioning in here, it's been amazing.
Nice.
It's been
Yeah,
amazing.
I know
Yeah.
what you
So
mean,
a
man.
month. So our our toilet seat broke, and I still haven't finished that. So yeah,
Dude,
all of the
I have
unfinished
not cut the
projects.
lawn, so I feel you. I feel you, man. It's getting rainy season over here, so
See,
yeah,
this is what's so cool about Perla. Like everything is so cool about her, but like she supports me in all my craziness and all of my, my positives and negatives and all of my HVAC talk. And now we go to like the hospital or the waiting room, whatever, and she's looking at ductwork. We go to a restaurant and she's looking at ductwork and
that's
asking
awesome.
questions. Yeah, that is awesome.
Should that be dropping on my forehead when I eat this sandwich? No. Somebody just posted a really good duckwork sweating on in the grapevine. It was pretty funny.
It's cool, Jason. They're talking about the magnetic bearing or bearings in general, how you get like electricity flow through there. But I can't wait to go hang out with Jason in Austin. Like every time I go through there, it's always last minute because everything I do is
Yeah,
last minute, and I got to miss them every time. But we're gonna go hang out at some point in time. So yeah,
yeah. I'm going to AHR for the first time, and I feel like I'm gonna meet a bunch of people there. I'm like, who? It's like how do you do it, man? Like, there's so
I'm
many people.
so excited.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I
so
get
sorry.
I get overloaded. Like at the end of the day at
Yeah,
AHR, people are
yeah.
like, "Hey, let's go hang out."
My damn
I'm
camera
done.
moved again.
I got
Yeah,
I got this cool little pin that says like my social battery, and like I'll start moving it towards the end
yeah,
of the day, and I'm just by the end of it, I'm just like I'm drained, and so like I want to go hang out with people, but I just
yeah,
like I know my limitations. So if you want me to be happy and fun, I need sleep.
yeah,
But
yeah,
after those shows, like I got to go out to the like camping and just kind of like
yeah, yeah. At the
been
symposium,
cool.
dude. The last day, I show up late. I'm like, take a little bit of me time. I go fishing because Chris buys that big mansion over there, and we all chip in. We just
Is
go
he
out to
doing
the
it this year?
lake. We're not doing it this year, man. No
All
Animal
right.
House. It's
It's
crazy.
expensive though.
We still don't know
So
where it's gonna be. We don't know what
HVAC
Brian Orr's gonna.
Tactical,
Oh,
Ben Poole. He
tactical.
also lives in Austin. So and I gotta get my tickets. I didn't know if they had their venue there, but they'll be having their show usually always next to AHR. I'll be able to go this year, and I
Nice.
look forward to it. And so Jason Johnson's gonna be there. All the people's gonna be there. So You got to book your stuff now. It'll fill up. The
Oh
very
yeah,
first time I went to HR, it was in Orlando. I
yeah.
waited. Everything was booked up. I booked this 4-star resort that was a dump. I literally put the sofa in front of the door because there were so many fights outside. I thought that someone was
Oh
going to
my
break in.
God,
I
really?
I
That's
put the
crazy.
mattress, the box springs over the window, and there was no heat. There was a cold front that came through, and there was no heat in the room whatsoever. And I had the hair dryer running wrapped around the doorknob so that would like heat the room, and I just kept running hot water into a bucket, and moving the bucket around, and then I had the
Man, it was that
I just kept
cold?
running hot water,
Shoot.
so it added humidity and the heat in there. So the room
Yeah,
was like super wet, but I was freezing.
that is
So yeah,
crazy,
it
dude.
is in Orlando. It's like, who would have thought?
Yeah, that was the first symposium. I froze, and I'm from the East Coast, and I'm like, I forgot to bring my jacket. I froze in there, dude. I got all extra T-shirts. I was bundling myself up with the symposium shirts. It was freaking ridiculous.
So
But
Aaron's got a
yeah,
great question.
yeah.
My first class videos. I have a lot of those hidden because of the issue with the school I was working at the time, and that didn't go so well. And so I've hidden a lot of those videos. If you have the actual links, they're still there and working. But I haven't. Some of them's on the playlist, but they're still there. I just got to figure out how to like do some editing to block some faces and whatnot out. But it's it's complicated. I don't want to
Yeah.
get into it. So, but they're around.
Oh, look at that. Hit me
No
up on the
way.
phone.
He knows.
He's like,
So before you book the house, Dustin, you got to realize that the HVAC symposium, the school symposium, may not be in Claremont this year. It may actually be in Atlanta. We don't know. Brian hasn't told it. He hasn't told me, anyways. So we don't know if it's going to be in Claremont or if it's going to be at another location. So before you book it, find out where it's going to be.
I think he's saying he knows where it is.
Oh, he probably does.
He's in the
I'm out of
know.
the
He's
loop.
in the know.
He's in the know. He's in the know. All right.
Not
So
much to
next
know.
week we are going to come up with something that'll be more fun for everybody. But I do appreciate everybody staying in, stopping by, and saying hi because this was
Yeah,
fun just to be able to just relax on a Sunday, nothing to worry about. So, and I can't
yeah,
wait for
it
the
was cool.
symposium either.
Yeah, I
So
can't wait. I need a recharge. It recharged
yeah,
me for the year, man.
I gotta get one of the shirts. The American. What was his name? Oh man, I
Oh,
can't remember his
right
name.
there, right. This one right here.
Yes,
Whoa, whoa,
yes.
whoa. Dave, Doug Crawl.
Doug. Doug.
Yeah,
Yes.
Doug.
He said he was gonna
I
send me a
got
shirt.
Ed.
I gotta go find him.
I got Ed's head in there, and then Jim Bergman's and my buddies. We got Justin, Julian Heat,
Julian.
the
I got to hang out with
Grapevine, and
him.
then we got
Nice.
Comfort Dynamics, Genry's.
So I should
J-
make a shirt and send it to you so that we'll have a.
Yeah, get it up there. We got Measure Quick hat. It's my wall of the wall of the dudes.
Oh, and so the first
Yeah, it was
symposium, I
freezing.
I taught that whole day before. I took an overnight flight there, landed, took a taxi from the airport straight to the symposium. I was living on coffee and caffeine that first
Yeah,
symposium.
yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, man, thanks for having me, and I really appreciate everybody, giving me the thumbs up. It's been cool.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you, and thank everybody in the chat for hanging out with us, taking
Oh
the
yeah,
time. And next week
RTFM
we'll put
baby.
something together. Read the fantastic manual. Have a great night.
Later, guys.